Today we come to the end of our read through the Gospel of Mark. The way the daily lectionary lays out, we don't read into the Passion narratives yet, the portions that deal with the very last days of Jesus' life. But still, today's daily lectionary reading is a fitting end to our read. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Saturday, February 18th, 2023. Recall that we've been reading most recently about a series of hostile encounters between Jesus and the religious authorities in Jerusalem after he came to town on what we call Palm Sunday. He had already signaled to his disciples that his journey to Jerusalem would end with his death and resurrection. So it is no surprise that he should come into conflict with these religious authorities. Now, after the last of a series of episodes detailing some of these conflicts, Jesus returns to teaching his followers. He's still in the temple, where he has spent a lot of the week teaching people. Now, when I say that he was teaching people in the temple, don't think of it like teaching in a sanctuary. This was a very large outdoor complex, many acres in size. He would likely have gathered his disciples and other followers in a spot where they could be apart from others, while at the same time they would have been in plain sight and could also have seen the goings-on in the temple complex. It would have been very busy, as this was during the festival of Passover, when Jewish pilgrims from far and wide would have come for the high holy days. So picture Jesus with his followers gathered around him as he taught, often pointing out and commenting on what was happening around them. Here's how Mark tells this next part of the story. As he taught, he said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearance say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which are worth a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the treasury. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." 2 observations, 2 stories. One story highlights the pomposity of the religious leaders. The other story highlights the true piety of a poor widow. You can see these 2 vignettes in your mind's eye. I'll have to be honest though, the first one makes me nervous. For on Sundays, I walk around in long robes and people greet me with signs of respect for my role as pastor. And I make my living from the offerings of faithful people, some of whom are quite wealthy, but many of whom make sacrifices to give to the church. This little vignette never ceases to remind me that religious leadership comes with the terrible temptation to revel in the trappings of office rather than focus on the needs of the least. The contrast with the poor widow could not be more stark or more intentional. The religious leaders represent the very antithesis of what the faith is about. The woman, the widow, embodies the faith. The religious leaders embody the corruption of religion. The widow embodies pure and undefiled religion. Together, these 2 episodes tell us almost all we need to know about how to live a faithful Christian life, one that embodies humility, devotion, and above all, gratitude. The religious leaders embodied none of these things. The widow embodied them all. May God grant us the ability to embody the faith the way this unnamed widow did. When we return next week, we'll shift gears and we'll talk about temptation. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.